cynicism is coming.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to my 31 Days of Halloween review series. And today, I'm going to be reviewing Creepshow 2 from 1987.
Welcome to Creepshow 2. Stephen King and George Romero are at it again. So walk, run,
One more step and blam!
swim if you have to. But whatever you do, don't take your time, because the scares come twice as quickly in Creepshow 2, rated R. We'll be seeing you. Starts Friday, May 1st at a theater near you.
Creepshow 2 stars Dominique John, George Kennedy, Hoyt McQueenie, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and also starring special effects makeup legend Tom Savini as the Creep. And it's directed by Michael Gornick. The plot of Creepshow 2 is that the rotting creep himself is back with 3 new personal tales of horror that will make your skin crawl. So basically it's just another anthology movie like the first Creepshow. Now before I get on to the rest of my thoughts on this movie, I would like to say I have never seen Creepshow 2 before. And it was about a year ago, I believe, that I first watched the first Creepshow movie and did a review of it. So I thought it was about time to watch Creepshow 2 and review it. And I was honestly looking forward to this movie. I was, because I loved the first Creepshow. Definitely up there with one of the most fun movies for me in terms of horror. And definitely up there with one of my favorite anthology movies. But I do got some thoughts on Creepshow 2, so let's just get on to them. Some of the cinematography is nice, actually, not bad, especially in some of the stories. I think the best of the cinematography in Creepshow 2 would have to be the last story, actually. And it's I think it's called The Hitchhiker, and that's the story. I think that's probably the best looking in terms of cinematography throughout this whole movie. And that's the only story I really felt any genuine, kind of creepiness that the first Creepshow brought to us. And also the tongue-in-cheek as well. And on that too, it was actually entertaining at times. I felt like the music actually fit well with that story for the most part. Outside of that, for the whole movie, I don't got much else. It's sad to say. I'm really sad to be on this part because I really wanted to love Creepshow 2. Because I loved the first Creepshow. And I was expecting it to be kind of... I wasn't expecting it to be on the same grounds as the first Creepshow. Not at all. But I thought it would have brought in a lot of elements from the first one. The only hints you really get with this movie that's a Creepshow movie are the animated bits for the end caps, if you will, with the creep and everything. And even that's kind of confused, because when it starts off as live action, and there's sometimes where it combines live action animation, and not in the way like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which still, by the way, I still have yet to watch. You see both live action elements and 2D elements in the same shot. No, they don't do that. Although that would have been fucking awesome, but they don't do that. Instead, what they do is basically they transition it from live action of the exact same things you're seeing to 2D animation of the exact same thing you're seeing. And it's not like the first Creepshow movie where it starts off live action and everything and then it cuts to 2D for just the intro and now where it reveals the title Creepshow. No. In fact, the animation in this movie has barely any atmosphere whatsoever. And knowing that the animation is shit. Okay, let me rephrase it. The movements of the animation, for the most part, isn't bad. The line work, not bad. But look at these guys' faces. Look at that kid's face there. And knowing that too, this is supposed to be the kid that's in the live action segments. He looks looks nothing like his live-action counterpart. I mean, like, nothing at all. Also, another thing I really didn't like about this movie was there's so much stereotyping in this movie. Like, honestly, one of the most stereotyped films I've seen in a while, actually. Like, first of all, there's racial stereotyping with the first story with the whole Native American thing in that. I didn't really care for that, too. Plus, even, like, in terms of, like, the characters in that, you got this gang, I guess, led by I have no idea what was going on throughout that story, to be honest. The most I know is, like, gathered from it was these people are being holed up, these elderly people, who are probably the nicest characters in that story. And then came off as stereotypical. And were the only characters I really cared about in that story. Spoiler alert, they had to gun them down. Yep, gun them down. They're dead. And you're stuck with either very unlikable characters or just racial stereotypes. It doesn't have any creepy atmosphere at all. In fact, for the most part, I honestly thought I was watching an episode of Little House on the Prairie. And not a good episode of Little House on the Prairie, mind you. It so did not feel like Creepshow. Oh, speaking of that too, the next story, The Raft, which a lot of people consider their favorites as far as I'm aware of, didn't feel like Creepshow either. In fact, honestly, for the most part, it kind of felt like an episode of Full House. You see the theme I'm going here with this? Also, in the Raft segments, everybody's a stereotype in there. You got the stereotype jock. And it's like, they all act stupid throughout the whole short. I didn't give a single rat's ass about any of the characters in this short. There was no suspense, and I guess probably there was no suspense for me because I didn't care about a single one of these characters. In fact, I wanted them to die so that I could just move on through the story and see if the next story lands for me. Thankfully it did, although I did have issues with that story too. Like, for one, it still didn't feel like Creepshow. I'm sorry, it didn't. It felt like almost a Christmas thriller movie. Like, some of it kind of reminded me of the Tim Allen movie, The Santa Claus, which I did review that. That film does not hold up for me. Yeah, it's like none of these segments feels like Creepshow. I mean, seriously, if I were to show you any scenes or moments from each of these segments, would you honestly say it came from a Creepshow movie?
Now, may your spirit rest, old warrior. Ako ni. Ako.
The raft will be there. I just saw it last week. We were on a geology field trip.
Yeah, well, just because you saw it there last week, don't mean it's going to be there now.
Hey, Rachel!
Hey, give me that back!
No, you would not. I wouldn't either. I'd be like, for the first one, I'd be like, oh, that's Little House on the Prairie. Second one, oh, that's from Full House. And the third one, oh, that's some Christmas, you know, like that kind of reminds me of the Santa Claus with Tim Allen. So far, nothing feels like Creepshow in this movie. And knowing that too, in that last segment, The Hitchhiker, it also suffers from some of the same stuff too. Racial stereotyping. Because the main character, the woman, ends up running over a hitchhiker and that, who turned out to be a black guy. And I don't know what was going on with that short. I'm not sure if it was like all in her head or I just don't know. But Yeah, like the guy keeps on coming back and trying to get her and all that stuff. It's like, is that meant to be creepy? Because to me, although to be fair, probably was a bit of the only creepiest part of the whole movie of Creepshow 2. Also, the music is not really good for the most part. It so did not feel like Creepshow as well. I guess you could sense a theme here. And none of it's really good. And even some of the placement in these anthology stories are kind of weird in terms of where they place them. Like, and no, actually, you don't get much of the comic book style that the first Creepshow movie gets. No. It's just mostly live action stuff, and then the only cartoon stuff is the in-between segments, like the transition segments to each story. That's it. And even that kind of switch between like 2D and live action footage. How is this a Creepshow movie? Again, I could keep on going on and on about my frustrations with this movie. If I were to, it would be here all day, so let's just get on to my rating. So with that said, I'm going to give Creepshow 2 a 2 out of 5 stars. And the 2 out of 5 stars is being generous there. Because I actually did kind of like the last segment of the Hitchhiker segment. If it wasn't for my little bit of enjoyment of that segment, this for sure would have been a 1 out of 5 star movie. I am so disappointed with Creepshow 2. I so love the original movie. I was like 50% excited to see Creepshow 2 and 50% hesitant to watch Creepshow 2. And honestly, if I had watched this, I could see why I would have been hesitant now. Now, by no means this is one of the worst horror films I've ever seen, but it's kind of on a close margin to in terms of up there with some of the worst horror films I've seen. I will say this is definitely up there with some of the worst sequels I've seen. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.